Hey, yeah, I'm Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, and I'm at the GPAA Gold Show in Pomona. And I'm here with my friend Alan, and he's got a product that I just really wanted to show you guys. I thought we could talk about it for a few minutes, and I think you might be interested in it. It certainly is an advancement in technology, at least from my opinion, for a recirculating type sluice box.
Thank you, Ralph. It's good to see you and all. And great to be here. It's a fantastic convention.
Yep.
And
so anyway, I wanted to show you this unit, and I wanted to ask Alan, can you just give us a quick tour?
Sure. Yeah, this wash plant here, this is the upper shaker deck, and what it is, it has a single spray bar in the middle. It shakes and vibrates this deck here, washes all the rocks, and of course all the coarser rocks fall up into the tailings. Finer stuff drops through a punch plate material, flows down onto the sluice where the gold collects. Okay. Once the gold is collected off the sluice, it then flows down onto the dewatering deck on the bottom where the solids and liquids are changed out. So the solids go off in the tailings, the liquids drop down into a series of tanks that have sand filters. This filters out all the suspended particles that are in the water, keeping it nutritious, so that way you can keep recycling the water over and over. In fact, you can run about a cubic yard, 40 gallons. So this makes it very practical for the average prospector to actually take out 150 gallons and run it for the weekend and get all kinds of gold. So it's very, very water efficient.
You know, normally maybe 2 5-gallon buckets is about all you can probably do with 40 gallons of water.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the initial feed hopper box.
Okay.
You got some unusual nuts and bolts in it, and I wanted to talk to you about the design of that.
Thank you. Yes, so first of all, like I mentioned earlier, we have the upper spray bar that sprays the water down onto this deck. This deck is actually a component of 4 different types of material. Stainless steel wings on the side for flares. The bottom is 14 gauge cold steel. It has these little studs in here. I don't know if you can see these studs. What this does is as the deck is shaking, it causes the rocks to roll around and vibrate. Okay? And so that just gets the rocks turning so they get more thoroughly washed before they're shot off out onto the tailings pile, stripping all the gold in the process.
And actually that's a really good idea because there's actually been studies done where they took dry screened rocks and material and then tested it. They tested the rocks that were dry screened and found that quite a bit of gold actually adheres, especially small flakes and stuff, adheres to the gold. And so you really need to wash the rocks off thoroughly. Okay, let's talk about the sluice deck.
Okay. So the sluice is a 15-inch wide sluice by 42 inches. The type of matting in here is what we call the pickle twist mat. Okay, and this mat is very efficient at trapping the fine gold. It'll get gold down to 400 mesh without a problem. In fact, most of the gold is collected in the upper third of the mat, and then very little gold is actually found in the lower third. In fact, no gold is even found in the last part of this. So it's very highly efficient in its recovery.
All right, let's talk about the dewatering deck.
Okay, so the last thing that's in the process is this dewatering deck. This is a couple of motors sitting at 45 degrees that work in concert with each other to shake this deck. This deck has a 150 mesh screen that actually separates the water from the solids down to 100 microns, okay? So all the tailings come off here, the water drops through the screen into what we call a sieve tray, and the water is delivered into the sand filters from there, which we'll show later on.
This dewatering deck is the real high-tech heart of this thing, because this is really unusual and something entirely different that I've ever seen on any kind of recirculating sluice system, and really that's what makes it really work. It literally takes water and filters it with a fine filter. What mesh size is this? 150 mesh. So only the material that's smaller than 150 mesh is going to make it through this and be into the sand filters. Anything any larger than that is going to go off into a catch basin where then it can be disposed of.
Yep. So let's look at the sand filters.
Okay, let's look at the sand filters.
Okay, the sand filter is just a simple bucket with holes drilled around the side and also on the bottom, and it fills with sand. Inside the bucket is this little grating that actually sits above the bottom of the bucket. And so you have the screen that fits in here. So that way you have the screen resting the rock, or holding the rocks up.
All right, let's fire this thing up and see what it looks like.
Okay, Kevin, so we have two boxes right here that contain the switches to fire it up. The first one, we actually turn on the dewatering deck on the bottom first, and we get those motors turning and get everything flowing. And the next step is we go ahead and turn on the upper shaker deck. You see it shaking right there?
Yep.
Okay, and then lastly, what we do is we turn on the water. So go ahead and turn that on. There we go. Sprayer's working. You can see the water churning here. That way it's mixing up the material more and more, stripping the gold off the rocks, and then obviously the gold material all through this grading, and the larger rocks will go out onto the tailings pile. So then everything goes down onto the sluice, and then we can see the sluice action, and you can see how everything's flowing and shaking. This is what gets the gold to settle through here, is all this vibration causes the gold to drop onto the river. And that's what keeps it locked onto the sluice. Okay? From there, everything hits this diversion plate, and then it flows down onto the dewatering deck where everything is separated. Okay? So now let's go ahead and run some material in here so I can show you the thing in action.
Okay.
So I'm just going to feed some material in here, and you can see how everything's washing. Look at the larger rocks just whistle clean. See that? They have a longer hang time while the other dirt flows through the bottom. And you can see everything rolling down the sluice here. You can see the sluice in action. See everything here. Now look down at the dewatering deck, and you can watch everything coming off here. Dewatering. Come on over here to the front.
Okay.
And you can see all these little clay balls, which would normally gum up your system, is actually coming off the deck, and we're getting rid of it. So that way it's running more efficiently, and then the water is getting filtered out so we can keep recycling. Very good.
It looks amazing.
Well, thank you.
No, I really like this.
Yeah, nobody else has got one like this, you know?
No, this is totally different.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody loves this dewatering deck.
yeah, because it's unique.
So hey, filming that in the GPAA Gold Show while the Gold Show was going on was just crazy. There wasn't much I could do with all that noise. I have one microphone that I could have rigged up, but because I was talking to Alan, I don't have a 2 microphone system that I could have used. Anyway, I thought that it would be fair to actually see the thing in operation out in the desert. So let me take you to a clip that will really give you a better feel for how the thing works in real life.
There we go, Eric. Good job. That's how we're going to feed it. Look at all that stuff just marching down the deck here. If you notice, all the big rocks in here, look at that. Most of the big rocks kind of hang up here, okay? So they hang up, so that way they have more wash time than the finer dirt. The finer dirt scoots down along the bottom here and flows down onto the sluice. And here's more action on the sluice here. There we go. And right onto the defection plate. And right down onto the dewatering deck. You see how everything's dewatering there? Looking pretty good. And we got a big rock coming down the chute here. That's the beauty about this machine. We wash all rocks. We don't screen it down or anything. We wash all rocks. Yeah, looking good there, Eric. Don't be shy, feed it in there. It's hungry, he'll take it. There you go. Woo! There comes some rocks. There we go. That's how you feed it there, Eric, just like that. That rate like that, perfect. And then we got Becky over here. She's doing all the scooping. Handing it over to Eric. You're going to do a great job. Remember, this machine can run almost 2 yards an hour, so you can really keep going. It'll keep two people really busy. Woo! There you go, you're feeding it in there nice and good. Yeah, that's the way you do it. Yes, sir. All the way down here. Look at those rocks coming off there, just whistle clean. And that dewatering deck is just marching right on there. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? We have our sand filters under here that are working, collecting all the water, filtering out all the solids. Everything flowing into the pump tank. This is our pressurized sand filter over.
Now, if you have any interest in the Gold Rattler, you can contact Alan. He's talking about, you know, what it's going to cost and to make those and sell them. He has his own website. It's called goldrattler.com. It's GOLDRATTLER.com. And I'll put a link to it in the description. But if you have any interest, feel free to contact Alan and talk to him about it. That's where you should go for more info. Let's take a look at some of the gold that Alan's been finding with his machine.
You can see Alan's been getting some pretty nice gold with his Rattler. Now, the truth is, in processing gravels, it's always better to process wet than it is to process dry. You guys know that I do a lot of dry washing myself, and for some gravels, you know, dry washing works pretty good, especially, you know, you want to use it in places where there's just no access to water. But with the Rattler, you can bring your own water in and recycle it and get pretty good results by processing wet in an area that, as you could see from Alan's video clip, that it was very deserty. That's out there in northern Arizona. It's a pretty dry place. I've been there. Now here's the weigh-in, and you can see it. This gold weighs in at about 1.7 grams, and just ballpark, that's at least at the time that I'm filming this, that's about $100 worth of gold. And Alan said that he did about a 1 cubic yard test, and so, you know, 1 cubic yard and $100 worth of gold, that's not too shabby at all. That's pretty nice. I'd be happy with those results. And again, like I say, when you process wet, you're going to get a little bit more gold anyway. So I hope you thought this was interesting, and I certainly am impressed with especially the dewatering deck that Alan has on his recirculating sluice. It's a neat little system. I'm sure it's not going to be cheap, but it'll be well worth it for those who want to acquire one of those things. It's a good tool. Now let's go back to the video.
Now, if you want to be a better prospector, you want to increase your skills at finding gold like that, then I wrote a book about it called Fistful of Gold. And because I want you to be able to go out and find fistful of gold. So let me tell you a little bit more about my book right now. So let me tell you a little bit more about my book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and I wrote it because I want you to be able to go out and find for yourself fistful of gold. And you can see that it's an encyclopedia with all kinds of information, pictures, and that sort of thing. It's not in color, but color would have cost me a lot more to have printed, and so the book would have cost a lot more. It's for sale on Amazon, and you can pick it up. I'll put a link in the description below. I also serve as the editor for a prospecting magazine. It's ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. And honestly, you should check that out. We got stories and information, legal stuff, everything you know to increase your skills as a prospector. I write articles in this every month, and a lot of other very experienced prospectors contribute to the magazine as well. So check the magazine out. Also, I have a website, and the website is at NevadaOutbackGems.com. I'll put a link for it in the description below. But there's gobs of information there that you will find useful in your prospecting efforts. Finally, I want to say that I really appreciate your comments and thoughts and even positive criticism. Don't come on there and just toss out insults, because I'll just delete your comments. But if you've got helpful things to say and questions to ask, do write and put those in the comments, because I answer my comments to people, and you'll hear from me in responding to you. So if you've enjoyed this video and you like what you see and you're interested in finding out more, well then sign up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so they'll let you know when I post new videos. And like it and share it if again you see stuff that you really are excited about. And I'll be coming out with lots more new videos, and so we'll see you again real soon.